Hey everyone, it's Jennifer with Rooted in the Rock, and I've got something dropping from the holiday branch right now. Hey everyone, welcome to Rooted in the Rock. I'm so glad you're here for a little Christmas in July. I'm even wearing all my Christmas things, some Christmas things. Okay. It is July. Now, a lot of people have never heard of Christmas in July. When I was growing up, that was always a big thing. I'm not sure who started it. I would have to look it up. There was always like big sales and all kinds of things. But anyway, I have been waiting, y'all. I have been waiting to take this down for, 6 months now. Normally, I am very, very good about New Year's Day. Usually New Year's Day is when I make sure I take everything down and put it away. That's usually my put away time. I have taken everything down and put it away, except for this guy, because I was like, oh, I need to do a video on how I put him away. And I've got this new idea and I just haven't been able to film it. So here it is. Well, technically it's June 22nd, but the video is not going to come out till July. It's going to be our first video in July. And so Christmas in July, no jazz hands. And so I wanted to share a few things for you. That way you can be prepared and get these things ahead of time if you need to order anything or whatever the case may be. So now the classic way, I'm going to talk about storing your Christmas tree, okay? It seems like a very simple thing, but there's really, I want to say, no good way to do it, right? There's really, every way there is to store a Christmas tree is frustrating, okay? Like there are even people that in order to avoid taking everything, they like saran wrap their trees, leave everything on it, saran wrap it, and put it in storage until the next year. I just can't imagine that. I don't know. I enjoy decorating it, right? Taking the stuff off, yeah, we all hate that. But I want to talk a little bit because the classic way is you put it in one of those Christmas tree storage bags, okay? Nobody has a plastic bin big enough for a tree because that would generally be ideal. But with the post in the middle, you can't fit it in a tub. Usually, it depends on what kind of tree you have. Okay, a lot of people store it in the original box that it came in, but it never quite goes in because you fluffed it out, right? It never quite goes back in the same way. And so we have gotten at least 2, maybe 3, but we've gone through at least 2 different Christmas tree storage bags. I want to say 3. We've had several. And what always ends up happening is they're unwieldy. It's just all this dead weight in a bag that you're just wrestling, and it's such a pain. And to get it in and out of the closet, we've had one before where it had like wheels on the bottom where you're supposed to like stand it up, but it never quite stood up straight and it ended up tearing, and the handles end up tearing. You end up getting, even when it's that anti-rip fabric stuff, you always end up getting rips and tears or holes poked through from the wire branches. It's a pain in the booty, okay? It's just a pain. Real trees are awesome and they smell great, but they're a fire hazard and they make a mess and they're also a pain. And then you have to get rid of them at the end of the year, which a lot of people actually, our old apartment that we lived in when we first got married, we would always get new mulch on the walking trails after Christmas, because they would take all the people's recycled Christmas trees, chip it up, and it was the new mulch, and it always smelled so good. I loved it. But anyway, it is kind of a renewable resource, but at the same time, anyway, that's a whole nother debate. So what do you do about storing the Christmas tree? You could get the bag and replace it every few years. That's annoying. Something that I tried, I don't know if I saw something about it on Pinterest or the internet or whatever. I don't know. But the thing that I've done the last couple years is one of these. This is a concrete tube, okay? A concrete form You can get these at like Lowe's, Home Depot, any of your like home improvement stores, right? This is for when people pour concrete for pillars and other things. And they come kind of in various diameters, but it's just a cardboard tube. It's like, see if I can get it turned for the, okay. It's like a giant toilet paper tube or paper towel tube, but on a much larger scale. So I've used these the past couple of years. When I take the tree down, I have 2 of these for the 2. This tree breaks up into 3 sections, 2 big sections, and then 1 topper. And what I've done the past couple of years is I had these, and then I had like a box top that I set it on so I could slide it on the floor easier. But basically, I take the tree down, compress the branches, fold it up, and shove it down into the tube. But a lot of times it would take, some work to get it in there. Then when you get it out, it's kind of a pain to try to pull it out of here too. You got to pull it through the bottom. You can't pull it where you want to pull it where the branches are going up, not down. So anyway, this was one way to do it. It compressed it. It didn't take up very much room in the closet. It's just, a little unwieldy, kind of a pain to pull. This is really heavy when there's a giant tree section in it. Unless you have it sitting in something that can slide on the floor, it's kind of a pain to drag, but it works. It works. And you're not poking anything in your storage closet. The branches aren't killing anything or anything like that. And this year I got to wondering, I was like, there's got to be another way. Like, I wonder if I can figure out a better way to store this thing, because I love my Christmas tree. I would love to have multiple trees. I have friends who have like a tree in every room in their house. I don't know how they do it. But for one thing, you got to have some storage for that. But anyway, I'm like, I would love to have multiple trees. I'd like to get my kids their own tree where they can, because once they get so old, they've acquired so many ornaments that they've made or done places, and you want to have somewhere, because I have my pretty ornaments here, and I'd love to have a kid tree where they can have all their ornaments, which would be really special, really cool. One idea actually that I saw somewhere that a lady was doing was each kid has a tree, and as they collect ornaments and have their own ornaments, and then when they grow up and move out, they already have a Christmas tree. They take it with them. They take their own tree with them, and they have one to start out with all their own ornaments and things on it. I thought that was a really neat idea. Might get to that sometime, but for now, the subject is putting this thing away. So here is an extra bonus tip. When I get done with the tree, either putting it up or taking it down, I've already got a bunch from taking the lights off of it today, but I had everything off and all the ornaments are put away. I just left the lights on for their birthday. My girls wanted the tree lit up pink for their birthday, so we did that. These are awesome. These are gardening. This is a gardening thing. I ordered it off of Amazon, but these are anti-scratch sleeves. So this is for a gardener. It's like a stretchy material that you and it goes all the way up. And this is actually, like I said, this is actually for gardening when you're working with roses or anything with thorns or prickles. These are anti-scratch sleeves, so you can do the things and not get your arm. Like when I get done putting a tree away or getting a tree out, I look like I've been in a cat fight with cats, like my arms are like always so scratched up, right? So I thought, dude, I need something when I'm fluffing out my tree. That's one of the things I hate, is getting scratched up so much. So if you get yourself a pair of these, then you can work with the tree, work with the branches, and your arms aren't going to get all scratched up, and you don't have to worry about when your last tetanus shot was. Okay. Okay, so there's extra bonus tip right there. Get yourself some anti-scratch and prick sleeve things. They're just like a stretchy fabric, but supposedly stuff isn't gonna prick through here and scratch you. Okay, so when I was sitting and thinking of, okay, how can I find a better way to put this tree away? When I get the tree out, Most of them nowadays. Now, my mom and my husband's mom both had a tree where the branches, you have the branch, and then it had like a 90-degree bracket that just hooked into the tree, and they were like labeled with letters and numbers for which row it was on. So it was like individual branches. Those, while it's kind of a pain to do one branch at a time, at the same time, you don't have all these other branches in your way. I would kind of be cool with that right now. And it'd be easier to store. You could pile those in a tub and store it way easier. But most of them now are like on a hinge. It's hooked so that it's on a hinge. So when you store it, you push the branches up like this. And when you bring it out, they all flop down like that. And the thing with that is, when you're going to fluff the branches out, when all of the branches are flopped down, it's hard to get in there and spread them out the way you want. So I like to do one row at a time. And how I've done that before is used yarn or whatever else I could find to kind of hold the rest of the branches up, and I would just take them down one row at a time, go around and fluff, go around and fluff. So the first thing I bought was this cord at, was it Lowe's? No, it was Home Depot, because that's the closest one. But you can get it at either one. And this is just diamond braid polypropylene rope. Okay, or some, it's not paracord, it's not the same, but it's basically, plastic rope. Okay, the thing with this is, I was thinking, well, I could do that, but the thing with this is kind of my plan B, right? This was my first thought, but then I was like, I was looking at the rope, and this kind of rope, honestly, unless you know how to tie knots like a Boy Scout, I never got to do Scouts, and I just tie regular knots, and those knots don't stay very well with this kind of cord. It's like when you have the round the round smooth shoelaces, and they're always coming undone even when you double knot them. This kind of rope does that. So I was like, well, this would be the perfect rope for that, and I could just kind of spiral down. But the trick is tying it off where it's going to stay. So I was like, I'm not sure if I'd be able to do that. But what about each layer? I thought, what about each layer if I get like a bungee? So I went and this, if you want to get the cord and do it this way, this was like $7 and some change. Assuming one of those would be enough. It's 100 feet. You would think that would be enough to spiral down the tree. But it also breaks up. I mean, you can cut it. You would need to melt the ends if you cut it though. Mine comes apart in sections. So I would need, separate cords for that. But I went and got myself some packs of bungees. These are about $10 a piece. There's 4 in each. And so what I want to do, this is what we're going to try, okay, and see if it works. But what we're going to try is smoothing the branches, putting them up, and then wrapping a bungee around each section of branches so that when I pull it out, they'll come down one section at a time. Okay, so this one's 36 inch, this one's 48, because the bottom of the tree is a little fatter. Mine is actually kind of a skinny type, a thin type, where it's not like super fat at the bottom, but they are bigger and thicker at the bottom. So I will start with 36 for the top. So come along with me for this. Hopefully it works. We're going to see if we can get this put away, and we'll see if I can get this on camera right. So first thing is first, I got to take the top off. Look at that. It's not scratching my arms. These are not hinged. These are just they're hooked with bendy arms. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside for the moment. I'm not sure where. Just on the floor. Okay. Now we want to do the top. Okay, so First thing I do is I'm not like too picky about it, but I do just kind of go from the center and out and squish the branches together, just so they're not sticking out all everywhere. Okay, so that one is done. So like what I would like to do is hold that. So I would need a smaller bungee. You could use, if you have big zip ties, or if you want to use yarn or something like that you'll just cut, that would work too. So for this section where I have more of these than I have bungees, is you're gonna pay, I've paid $20 for these 2 packs of bungees, and for a storage bag you're running $25, $30 usually. So depending on what kind you get and where you get it, I've ordered them on Amazon, I've gotten them at Target, Walmart, wherever. We've gotten them several different places over the years. So I don't really want to spend more than I would spend on a bag. You know, people talk about natural trees, you know, being such a mess and dropping needles. Every time I get this tree out and every time I put it away, there are, you know, little fake tree needles everywhere. So you still have to clean it up, honestly. Either way, you're going to be cleaning up tree needles. The plastic, maybe I'm smelling that. Oh yeah, fresh bungee. It's not the most pleasant smell. All right, so I've got just a simple bungee that hopefully will go around and then hook it together like that. So, and this might be something you need another set of hands for. I'm on my own today. So, I've got people out of town and people at camp, and so we're just gonna do this by ourselves. All right, so you're gonna gather up these 2 rows and then fit the bungee. Actually, this bungee will probably go around twice. There we go. So there is one section. I mean, that'll do. That'll do. So there's one section. Whew. I think we're going to be doing a lot of fast forwarding in this video. A lot of cutting. That makes me think of the SpongeBob 4 days later.
A few moments later.
And always remember, when you're working with artificial trees, remember they're made out of like plastic and chemical treated and all of that. So with Christmas lights or Christmas trees, always remember to wash your hands. And if you've, been rubbing them up your arms, do like a doctor, scrub all the way up to your elbows. But always, after working with an artificial Christmas tree, always make sure you wash your hands real good when you're done. You don't want any of those, because that stuff does rub off on your hands. Your fingers will feel, when you've got some kind of residue on your hands, you can feel it. And so just remember, public service announcement, the more you know. There went a bungee to the floor. Always remember to wash your hands. All right, so let's get another.
A few moments later.
In this row, and just give it a hug. Say, I love you, Christmas tree. Thank you for making me happy. All right, so hug it, pull it around, give it a hook. There's the next section, and then we've got one to go.
A few moments later.
I've got them nicely bundled. I could have used with this section, these are 36-inch bungees. I probably could have used maybe a 24-inch bungee, would have been probably perfect. These are a little loose. I mean, they're snug, but they could be tighter. And I had to double it on the top where it's smaller. So probably 24 inch would have been fine. But like I found out and shared, you might want to count how many layers of branches you have if you are like me and you want to take them down one at a time to fluff them out, because I don't like, even though after you put the ornaments on it's not so bad, but I don't like being able to look at the tree and see through to the other side, right? I try to fill in all of the gaps and spaces so that it's just tree, right? So I try to fill in those gaps. So you might want to, before you run out and buy the bungees, you might want to count how many layers of branches you have to make sure you have enough. Or you could do like me, and like this one had 8, so I just bundled 2 layers at a time. So this one's ready to go. I could go put it in the corner of the closet, or I could, just like this, shove it in the tube. But I'm afraid when I take it out of the tube, it might pull the bungees off. So I'm just gonna leave it like this and put it in the closet just like this.
5 minutes later.
All right, so now we're working on the bottom section. This one only has 4, but there's more and they're bigger. But I will need to stand up. Yep, so the 36 would have been fine for this. At least this top, where mine is a more slim. Now, if you have a tree that is not a slim, then it gets super wide. So with my 48 inch, I had to double, and it's still not like super uber tight. Tight enough though. All right. So again, the 48 inch I doubled. So I'm thinking the 24 inch for the top and the 36 inch for the bottom section would probably be just right. So what I might do is I might go back, because you can always use bungees around the house or with your car. So what I might do is go back sometime before next year, or maybe, you know, during next Christmas, when we pop into the home improvement store, I might go back and get myself a container of the 24 inch so that when I put it away next time, I will have a more proper size. Getting harder to double, but I could still double it to hold that section up. And then one left. My husband basically dared me to keep it out until Christmas. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I would almost do it, but I'm like, I really want my space back. All right, voila, that section is ready. And then when you go to get it out the next year, you just unhook it, flop that section out, do your spreading of the branches, and then unhook the next section and spread the branches. It's easy peasy. And it's nice and tidy. You don't have to haul a bag through the house. You don't have to figure out, you know, how to get it into the closet. You don't have to lift the whole tree. You can do sections at a time. So, and I think for this time, I'm going to keep my concrete tubes just in case I decide to do that again, or in case I decide to do it with these guys hooked on. It wouldn't hurt to have the bungees and the concrete tubes. It just keeps from getting anything else that you put in the closet with it from getting poked or snagged. depending on where you're putting your tree, right? Like the other things that I have in the closet with it are the plastic tubs that have the decorations and things in them. So I'm really not in danger of anything getting snagged. So this year, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to just put it in the corner of the closet where it always goes, but I'm not putting it in the tube. I am just gonna keep it just like this. And we're gonna see how much quicker and easier it is when we get it back out in November. What are we? July, September, October, 5 months. 5 months. I have 5 months to wait, and then I will get it back out again. But anyway, I know there are people that keep their tree out and they redecorate it for different seasons. I'm like, no, I only like a Christmas. I love trees all year round, but this particular type of Christmas tree is a Christmas tree. I don't, decorating it another way is just a Christmas tree dressed up for a different holiday. For me personally. I'm not knocking it, but that's just me. But anyway, I just wanted to show you my idea because just the way I like to get them out and the way I like to set them up, the bungees holding the individual sections together just when you get it out. So that's like the way I put my ornaments away. I put my ornaments away so that when I get them out, when I open the tub, my ornaments are already in the order that I like to put them on the tree. I like to put certain ones on the tree first and then fill it in. You have some ornaments that are special and you have some ornaments that are just filler ornaments, but they're more pretty and you like them better. And then you have some ornaments that eventually, as you've lived longer and collected more ornaments, then you have ornaments that are just like a plain color that are just filler, just to fill spaces. But I always like to do those last. I like to place my special ones first, then my other ones. So when I put them away, when we take them off the tree, I group them and I put them back in the tubs, the opposite order, so that when I get them out, they're in the order I want to get them out. And it just makes decorating the tree so much less stressful and more organized, and for me it's just it makes it a more pleasant experience. So I love getting the stuff out and decorating for the holiday. It's so much fun. Putting it away, not so much fun. But if you take the time and do it right when you're putting it away, it just, like I said, it makes your experience so much less stressful. It makes it easier and more organized, and it just helps you have a better time. Like at the holidays, we don't want it to be stressful. We want it to be good memories and special and fun, right? So this is just my way of helping. So if you have been wrestling with a Christmas tree bag, you might want to consider tying it with rope if that's your thing, or use the easy bungees. I just want to like pull them, hook them, done. Like, ta-da! I don't have to worry about tying knots. Now, if you were a Boy Scout or a Girl Scout, or you know knots really good, then you know how to tie those and they won't come undone. For me, that's a pain in the tushy. So I like pulling the stretchy bungee and just hooking it, and it's done. So there we go. I'm going to go put this in the closet, and then I have to vacuum down here again. You should see there are little fake needles everywhere. So I hope this was helpful, or perhaps it was inspiring. See, the top part of the tree never gets, it's just the one piece, and it never gets put in a tube anyway. It gets put in the closet just like it is. So I don't have to worry about that, by the way, if any of you were wondering. But I hope it was helpful. I hope it was perhaps inspiring. So you might want to start thinking about that. I know it's 5 months early, but you know, that might be coming around. Perhaps you might just be wandering in the store and, oh, look, bungees are on sale. Like, that's your time. Snap them up when they're on sale. Who knows? And if you want to order something like these gardening sleeves, these are super fantastic. I actually see I have a pick right here. That would have been a nasty scratch right there. So these are super, super handy for keeping your arms from looking like it's a cat chew toy, okay? And, oh, I've got a pick right there too. Woo, I really roughed them up. So these are just cheap ones I got off Amazon, but hey, they did the job. So there's that, there's the tying it up, all the things. please hit the like button, the thumbs up button if you liked the video, if it was helpful or inspiring. And of course, as always, subscribe to get the future content, and I will see you next time. Dude, I don't know if I can do this with you watching me like that. So one more hug. Thank you, Christmas tree. Be like Marie Kondo. Thank you for your service. My hand is sliding because of the... Oh, got it. Roar. What am I gonna do with these tubes now? You're looking at me. Don't look at me. It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. We're not. No one wants to stand here and watch me do this in real time. So that's my first thing. Oof. I just punched myself in the face. Wow. That's my talent right there. See, you can't help it.